Hello everybody and welcome to Green Star Trading with me, Tom. All views, opinions and ideas expressed in this video are my own and do not constitute financial or trading advice in any way. Right, for the next few minutes we're going to be looking at TLT, and I'm going to apologise in advance for what is a complete dog's dinner. Now what do I mean by that? Well, I've been putting this off all week, this video. I said I'd get TLT out this week. I've made a few commitments to certain people, so I'm doing it. But I've been putting it off in the hope that price action will give me some kind of clarity, and it really hasn't. In fact, the recent price action has just done more to befuddle me, to be absolutely honest. Now, normally, if you're a follower of this channel, you know I can normally pick things out pretty clearly and say that, give a couple of clear options with invalidation levels and targets. I just can't really do that at the moment with TLT. So we're going to spend as little time on the Elliott wave as possible, and maybe try to look into the basic analysis at the end of the video a little more to see if there's any basic clues, fundamental clues as to what we might be doing. So let's start with the Elliott wave count anyway. So the long-term count hasn't changed. We've come down to the bottom in the same way. Now we're going to look at two options. This first one is the bullish option, which says that we bottomed down here at 133.55 with C to A parity on log scale. So what do I mean by that? Essentially taking from the top, if we can get there, the length of the A, projecting it from our B, we've come down and then switched into log scale, and I've obviously failed to I haven't come all the way down to the bottom of that A. And we see the white line here, and this is where we bottomed, right down here. So if we just zoom into the recent price action, since this is all the trouble I'm having at the moment in dealing with the reaction off of the low. So we're going to come down to a 1 hour, and I'm going to show you the problem I've essentially got here. Now I've got a count on here for a bullish count, but it is ugly as sin. It is just awful, but it's the best I can do. So to try and interpret this bullishly, what we're going to say is we've got a running flat in the 2, and it looks something like this. So we've come up in 5 waves into a 1. We've got a diagonal for our minor 1 here at the bottom of the count, and then we work our way up into a 3, 4, 5. We can get an impulse wave in the minor 3. We then get a zigzag, A, B, C, but we don't complete in a 2 down here because there's absolutely no way in hell we can count this as an impulse wave. You know, in a for a wave 3, for example, because we could have said that we were coming up here in a 1, 2, 3, 4 working on some, or 3, 4 working on some kind of diagonal, but we'd have to get a clean impulse wave in here, and it just can't be done, and I've spent ages trying to count it. You could say, alright then Tom, well why can't it just be a 1, 2, 1, 2, you know, or wherever the hell we ended up, and then now we're doing another 1, 2, because we still can't get an impulse wave out of here. You have to find 5 waves with no overlap in the 4 over the 1 and a clean impulse in the 3rd wave, and it's just not there. What I see is 5 waves in a diagonal with a big gap here and a big gap here. It's not pretty. Into an A, and then a 3 wave move, 3 wave move, 3 wave move into a B, and then another 5 wave move up. So I'm saying an A, B, C zigzag. Now I'm assuming there's 5 waves there. We get an ending diag in what I'm assuming is the 4th into the 5th. We've got a 1, 2 here. We've got a gap. On a smaller time frame, I can perhaps dig out a 3, 4 if I come in on a shorter time frame. I think I'm actually just assuming there's something there, to be honest. Yeah, we get this diagonal pattern at the end, at the top here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. You can't even call this a 3, 4 because there's an overlap. So this is perhaps 1, 2, 3 4 here maybe, 1 2 3 4 3 4 here maybe. You see what I'm saying? 3 4 here maybe, and 1 2 3 4 5 into the tiny teeny tiny ending diagonal of the 5. But because of this gigantic gap, I can't see it and I can't pick it out. And then we come down in a final zigzag, which I'm having to say this is a 1 2 3 4 5 into an A, WXY into a B, and then another 5 wave move down into the C to complete the 2 to get this running flat. And then now we should be going 1 A B C running flat again into a 2 3 4 5. We should start to accelerate and head higher. If we're in a 3, we should start to break up higher and start to accelerate away. Now, like I said, you can rip this to pieces if you like, criticize the hell out of it and say it's an absolute pile of dog shit. But if you do all those things, and I don't blame you for doing any of them, provide an alternative, please, because it would actually help. Because it doesn't count cleanly as an impulse off of here. So it's like, alright then, maybe it didn't bottom Tom, so let's look at the possibility of it being corrective and we're heading lower. Alright, fair enough. Here's the alternative. We are in some kind of 3 wave move. Okay, like this, before we head lower again to complete. This time wave C to A parity outside of log scale. It's like, well, that looks much more feasible. Yeah, alright, maybe it does. I still got the exact same problem. Because of the diagonal or potential diagonal into a WXY into a 5 here, this has to be at least imagined, although we can't count it cleanly, as a zigzag. So, okay, we can't say A, B, C because we're not digging out 5 waves here, so we'd have to say WXY, and then we'd have to say A, B, C, and then 5, and then either 5 waves in a C. Well, in that case, it's not a zigzag. It's going to have to be considered to be some kind of flat pattern. And even if we want to label it ABC, like I said, we can't label it ABC, but we do get 5 waves here. So this suggests 5 3 5. It wants to be considered a zigzag, but it counts like a WXY because of the mess in the middle here. So maybe I just have to say it's my own personal limitation and I just can't count it. And it's here somewhere, but I just can't do it. So maybe I'm looking at it wrong, and maybe I just need a break from it, and I just can't quite figure it out. So in that sense, I'm just going to label it ABC and be done with it, because whatever. Okay, and then we'll just say the same again. This is a 3 wave structure, we'll say, and there we'll say that this is a 3 wave structure. And we'll give the benefit of a doubt that this might be a 5 wave structure in a C for a flat pattern. Okay, it's ugly. A, B, it'd be a regular flat rather than expanding or a running flat. We could also say it's a WXY. So let's assume we only get 3 waves. I tell you what, that may actually fit better. So A, B, C, and we'll label the whole thing W, X, Y. And that's the best I can do with the Elliott wave at the moment. I'm not interested in trading this with this kind of setup. I can't see anything here that's clear. If I'd had a lovely clean impulse off of the low, something like this, and then 3 waves back, I'd be, yeah, alright, we've bottomed, be a buyer. My gut, which is all I've really got to go on at the moment, suggests to me that this is just corrective. Some kind of corrective move. Maybe this WXY. I think I'm leaning into that more at the moment. So, from a pure feeling perspective, I'm going to expect this to break down more. Now, if we do get some kind of impulsive wave out of here which rips up, then maybe this count, as messed up as it is correct, and we are coming into a 3rd wave. But where we are at the moment, I just can't call it. So let's hang up the Elliott wave hat there for a moment, and we'll clear up the chart, and we will just look at the basic analysis for a moment. I go hide that, and we're just going to come out to the weekly, shall we? And we're going to zoom into this little sliver. All of this price action here, and then we're going to bring up our exponential moving averages, which is a 10 in yellow, 20 in blue, 60 in orange, and 250 in green. We have our volume profile here on the right hand side with the various peaks and troughs of the buy sell volume, and the yellow dashed line representing the extreme, which is the point of control. We have a MACD here with a short-term moving average in blue and a long-term moving average in orange. The short is a 10, the long is a 20. And we have an RSI set to a 10 close with the green 30 level representing oversold and the red 70 level representing overbought. So, first thing to notice here is we are below the 10. Well, we're trading today, we're trading above the 10 exponential moving average on the weekly. Trading just around it, below the 20, below the 60, both across through the 60 with the price below it, which is a traditional death cross. And we did fall below the 250, but we have now bounced back above it. The MACD has a return to bullish momentum on the weekly time frame, short-term moving average crossing over the long-term moving average. And the RSI has a move down into deep oversold conditions, and a move from oversold back towards neutral territory. So that's the weekly. Now, I've mentioned in previous TLT videos, and we've seen it multiple times before, that we've had divergences here in the RSI, like a low and a higher low, with a low and a lower low in price. And we can see here again, a low and a higher low in RSI, and a low and a lower low in price. But essentially looking at the ones we got before these big rallies, so before that big rally and before this big rally here, we had a low and a lower low in price, but we had a low and a higher low in price, in RSI. I know I've talked about this before, and the same back here before this big rally as well, we saw the same. And going back and forth throughout all of its history, really, we get a series of lower lows, but we get lows and higher lows in the RSI. So maybe we'll see the same again with this breakdown, and this supports the idea that we've got one more move down. So we're going to go a low and then drop again, but have a higher low in the RSI, but a lower low in price. When I look at the wave structure here, this move up for the meantime just looks corrective. It looks like we've come down, like we did, like this move kind of here. You come down, you come up a bit, then you fall down, then you come down, you come up a bit, then you fall down. So it still looks corrective, but a sustained move above the 10 weekly, if these moving average, its 10 starts to curl up, we push into neutral territory in the RSI, we get more green bars on the histogram, we've got to start considering a bottom here. But for the moment we can't get a clear impulse off the low, we can't even get a nice neat motive wave off the low. It's a bit of a mess. A violent move up suggesting moving into a third wave, that could be convincing. Now if we come down to the daily time frame and we adjust things down here, we can see that the 10 and the 20 moving averages are now moving up, prices trading above both, but we're compressed currently below the 60 exponential moving average, right around this big node of volume here. 250 is still a long way above us, so we could correct in some kind of corrective pattern. There's nothing suggesting, because of the wave, this could be a wave 3 into a wave 4, and our wave 1 is all the way back here. We could correct all the way up without invalidating and then still roll over. This is the problem with having had a proper meltdown. When you have these kind of real accelerations, you leave big gaps where a potential bounce can occur, or a dead cat bounce, I guess you could say, which can be quite convincing. Now, we've seen a return to bullish momentum here on the MACD, but that's now died off somewhat. Yes, we've gone back under, then back over, above zero, the zero bound on the MACD here, and we are getting another green bar on the histogram. A strong follow through here with several green bars for for the rest of this week and into next week, and a sustained push higher above the 60 exponential average would also be more bullish evidence of perhaps having entered a third wave. Same with a push into overbought conditions, that could also be helpful in confirming that as well. But any taper off of momentum prior to this major moving average and any turn lower from here would suggest that this is simply just some kind of free wave or multi-wave double or triple combo correction heading higher before rolling over. And that's all I've really got for you guys. I know it's not much use today. Like I said, I did apologise in advance. I wish I could give you more definite material, but until I see something more definite, we're just kind of lingering around in a sideways kind of movement at the minute, looking for some kind of confirmation of where we're going. So okay, that's it. So we'll call it there for TLT. If you're new to the channel and you have actually liked what you've seen today, then please subscribe, smash the like, leave us a comment if you want to, hit the bell notification icon to remain informed of future videos. As always, I would like to thank my Patreon subscribers. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you're interested in becoming a patron, becoming a member, gaining all those benefits, head over to Patreon and have a look at the tiers. There's a link in the description box below. And if you're not following me on Twitter, there's also a link to my Twitter feed in the description box below as well. Alright guys, that's probably going to be it for the week now. I will have a weekend video on one of the major indices, either the SPY, but probably the NDX, I think, because it's been a couple of weeks now since I last covered it. So got that to look forward to probably on Sunday. And until then, take care of yourselves and I'll speak to you soon. All the best. Bye bye.